And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the PEL Phase 3. Great to get some tips from the pros. Rory, pretty much telling how it is, and it's very important, that bit that he said towards the end there, talking about practice. You know, people said, "Oh, I played so many hours in this game." It's like, that's great, but are you putting it to good use?
Yeah.
And that's what he's talking about. He's like, you've got to go into it with objectives, with goals. You know, it's all well and good being that I'm that solo guy that can take on squads and stuff like that, but if you've not got sort of an objective for the day and like what you're trying to aim, you know, maybe you've even tweaked your FOV, you've changed monitor, whatever you've got to do, you've got to
good practice,
set your
warm-ups
warm-ups up, yeah.
Pissing around, like we've kind of people sometimes, you know.
We're talking from a pro point of view, obviously.
Yeah.
Not, you know.
I think if you scrim
you
it though, you have to play it as if it was a proper game.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, it's okay keeping your shot warmed up in publics. Publics are just a different thing altogether. Hell, you walk inside a toilet and someone sat there with a friggin' shotgun half the time. It's a proper weird.
What's he doing there?
Oh,
sat in the bathtub.
It was about 6 months ago. A very quick story, and I was fuming. We all drop Bacado, kill everybody, full squad wipes for days. Between team, we probably got about 10-15 kills, double-digit figures, loving life. Crit comes in, banging, great, well happy about this. Ghillie suit, AWM, 8 times, you name it. Everyone's geared. Everyone's got level 3 2 gear, level 3 bags, all the guns, all the attachments. Where the boxing ring is, you can call it boxing ring, arena, whatever it is. Just across the road, you got those little houses. Thought, I'll just go and check them out. Walked through the door, first aid, middle of the room. Didn't think, complete bait. Some so-and-so had put it in the middle of the room, opened the door, go for it, and I absolutely papped myself.
Yeah.
I had no idea what had gone on.
Caught you off guard.
Literally, and then I just look at him behind the door. The dude in a pair of pants with a 686. Pair of pants and a 6. I'm like, and you know when you don't know whether to laugh, cry, swear, or what.
Oh, you swear.
Oh, I said so many choice words.
You definitely swear.
Oh.
Everybody's had that sort of moment, but yeah, the heel. It's a first date. Oh.
I was fuming to say it was I had full ghillie suit, AWM, you name it, loving life. Douche. Shotgun to the back of the
But
suite.
you also have those games where the rest of your squad's died. You manage to limp your way into the circle. You suddenly find an SKS or an SLR or something. You keep on limping your way across. Sometimes you got to swim across to Sosnovki thinking, Jesus Christ, this game's never going to end. And you carry on going, and then everybody takes each other out, and you suddenly come out with a win. You think,
top 5, like, well, I'm lucky going now.
I don't know how I won that.
My teammates carrying on because they're all in death screen, asking me to hurry up.
They're all like, come on, get on with it. Yeah,
the streamer's getting upset that his viewership's going down because they're watching one person moving. Aye.
Oh, GamerLegion, it's not been going well for them, boys. Down in 14th now. It actually started off well. They were sitting around 8th place for quite a while, but it's definitely been a bit of a slip for them in the last week. FaZe Clan, I think they'll still be happy with 2nd place. You know, they could have had the hat trick. 3 wins. I don't think we've had anyone do that, you know. Win the first game of the day, three days running. Yeah,
have we had a hat trick back to back yet?
No. We've had it over a course of a day before.
Yeah.
And obviously Nip won the back-to-back yesterday on Sanhok and Erangel.
I honestly think with FaZe Clan it just speaks bigger volumes of how they can read these frigging circles. Every single time you see them, they're just sat and it's homing in on them.
I mean, it was pretty much where they dropped as well. It wasn't even.
It's not too far, right?
Yeah. Where they
Liquid
dropped,
have to, I suppose, when you look at them and how things are with them, they're a damn good team, and I'm not taking anything away from them, but it just shows the disparity in how things play out. Like FaZe are now finding their groove on Miramar and being able to say, okay, well, this is a really good read, this is a good compound. Whereas Liquid are still trying to play the old, what they used to do, leave early, slightly undergeared, go central, not hope for the best, but play the best they can.
They did it differently this time. They were a bit later on the leaving, but and honestly, I thought they had a great position, but they just got caught out. James was scouting up on the hill. He got caught out and then flushed. And then obviously Raise Your Edge got that knock, and that was the go sign for them. They played it well, to be fair, Raise Your Edge, because bearing in mind Raise Your Edge were in almost the position that Desperados were. They were both across the western side. And the Raise Your Edge, as soon as Colomenta got that knock, he would have been there quicker if he hadn't spun his vehicle. We got there in the end. And obviously Raise Your Edge, they played it very well to not only take down Team Liquid and G2, who pushed their position, and then obviously come around and finish off and take advantage of FaZe's overextension push on Desperados to get the win there. So well played them. Let's see what happens in this final game of Miramar for the week. G2, they picked up a decent amount of kills. NELLOZ, I think he had about 6 or 7 kills in that last game. It was a pretty good performance from him. We've had a number of star performances this week with Reels having some cracking games. Think of Aitzy. Aitzy's been absolutely banging this weekend.
Yeah, he's really found his stride, hasn't he? Individually, like some of the shots he's been pulling off. But we've seen signs of greatness from him in the past. I'll also remember the old, was it? I'm sure I was casting with you. The NIP dropped down on the back of Erangel near Sosnovka in that little ditch where he took 3 of them on his own with an AKM in the smoke.
The play I always remember from him is when he was in Method, that play on Team Liquid.
On the wall?
Yeah, when they made the push and took them all down, yeah, in the smokes and all that, yeah. Yeah, some big plays. But here we go. Bird is in the air. Let's see where we're going to go. It's going to be a relatively decent flight path for most involved, I think. Let's have a peek. It is in the air. It's going to be going, if you've got the map stream open, you can see it. It's going to be going straight over to Misera and the Oasis. It is going to be slightly to the east, but most teams are going to be fine with this. Obviously, a lot of teams are going to be dropping San Martin, Hacienda, Minas Generales, Picado. All these are very much available. The only teams that may need to make adjustments is the likes of Desperados, who would be going Impala. Probably get to see them going maybe down to Valadolmar or even Chumisera. We'll see which what sort of adjustments they make.
We need a weird and wonderful circle. We need an island circle, Higos, or island in the east, or even a prison, just something stupid. Throw everything up in the air and cause a bit of chaos. It's the last, come on, it's the last Miramar game I actually cast of PEL this year.
That's actually very true. This is your last weekend. This is we need to get something entertaining. But to be fair, we had some pretty damn good games yesterday, so
yeah, there were.
We'll see. So it is going to be Chumisera for Desperados. That puts GamerLegion's noses out a little bit, because obviously that's where FX was looking at trying to go. It's strange that that's been kind of semi-open a bunch of times. Obviously, DA are going to be going Los Leones, so 7 also chose to go up north, their standard spot. N47 in the end did go Valadolmar, and wow, it has paid off. One of those interesting circles, obviously, we've seen this a number of times. Big, wide valleys. Do you go, which hill do you go on? Which mountain do you traverse and pick as your home? FaZe are happy with this once again.
So this is one of those scenarios where up against the wall can actually be quite crucial, because you have the water that struts up from the prison area. The circle does come away eventually from that water. In doing so, sometimes it will flood into the little valley just off the strut, touching the edge of the circle on the west. A couple of really key points will be, ironically, guess where FaZe Clan actually are, in and around that area. Come a bit further down, the ditch just out of Monte Nuevo, across the road, a bit further to where the Knights are going to be lingering, and then every single damn area on that hillside that runs parallel to the road.
Well, with ENCE, I'm just wondering, I'm just wondering where the hell ENCE are going to go. How are they going to get it? Because you can't really go over the bridge of Valadolmar, because there's N47 there. And I don't expect Valadolmar. I think N47, they're just going to go slightly north. They're not going to go too far north from their drop position.
I'd be stunned if they stayed there, though. There's
they
no
won't stay
to
there, but they will go north. But and I guess that opens things up. But anywhere slightly north of Valadolmar, you have vision of that bridge. It's a easy peak on it. But
with all the vehicles, though, going across it, you've got a lot of cover, because it has all the busted and broken down vehicles, if memory serves me right. It's always a bit rough on transition. Well, easier transition than what most.
It's actually tough rotate for a lot of these teams with the circle the way it is.
You'll get the usual where you'll have G2, Reciprocity, Digital Athletics will just find a compound and sit, but you'll get the usual scenario where everyone, unfortunately, circle 2 to 3 just bodies each other on the eastern side.
Yeah, I mean, my point is that obviously with the plane path the way it is, the fact that it is we have 1, 2, 3 teams extra in this sort of area looting than you would normally have, which instantly causes problems. Obviously, you know, we would normally have N47, Desperados, and ENCE all over on the far east coast, and Impala, Puerto Paraíso, etc., and ENCE's spread loot north of Los Leones. They would all be taking this rotate down south. Now, a lot of these teams are going to be thinking, okay, that's not safe territory. let's go north, but the north is congested. The north is very congested. We're seeing FaZe, they're still in Monte Nuevo. Meanwhile, NIP, they're already on the move. Coming out of San Martin, 4 minutes. 7 are on the move. The Pittsburgh Knights are coming out of Power Grid as well. Everybody is sort of congesting just north of Monte Nuevo, where Knights are pulled up now. NIP are coming down the road. You can see them in the distance. Here comes NIP. Here comes 7. They're all coming the same way. 7 are actually choosing to go via El Pozo. CrowCrowd are only just leaving the other side of. Team Liquid are trying to figure out exactly this route, and this is what the IGLs have got to do. They've got to figure out where the hell do we go from this circle. Bearing in mind the flight path went directly over that area.
You've still got a few open places, but the problem is those places are going to be open in the fact that they're little shacks, little garages, nowhere else really around that provides kind of cover. For a lot of these teams that are moving later or do come late into the circle, they're going to be picking up leftovers, to be honest, because everyone will go for prime territory, more square and more central of this circle. Down south, again, it could be a bit weird of how teams will late rotate. Again, your G2s, your Digital Athletics, maybe your Reciprocity should they swing the edge of this circle and come down, and then all of a sudden you just find ENCE kicking around Valdemar on the darker hills. Like, well, didn't expect you boys to be down here, but fair play, whatever works. Team Liquid, they're in. They're safe. They're not as square as all the other teams are, but they're playing a bit of a longer game, but it's fine because the ground that they have will give them a good overview on things. CrowCrowd, first player to die. Rather unfortunate for 7. Have a bit of a difficult run so far.
That was a pull-up. As I said, CrowCrowd came out of El Pozo just ahead of 7 there, and obviously been sat watching their backs. And the forward scout, CrowCrowd for 7, caught off guard as they will pull in on the south side of Monte Nuevo. The Knights happy down low, directly below them. Probably not so happy when they find out CrowCrowd just pulled above them. FaZe Clan, we can see them up on the hills. They chose the western hillside. NIP are going to go down to the compound just ahead of MBS. I'm pretty sure that's where they're aiming to go right now. It's always a strong position here. We've seen the circles finishing in and around these compounds multiple times. It's getting very congested down the south side. You've got GamerLegion, Team Liquid, DA all sort of coming in. ENCE have come over the river, Valle del Mar. They're just sort of north of Valle del Mar right now.
You'll have your later teams, Raise Your Edge and G2, where we'd kind of expect them to be as well. On the north for Raise Your Edge, on the east to south for G2. Navi just driving past 7. They're over in the distance on their right-hand side. To the left, though, there's no real entry point they can make. Should they pull up somewhere, and this is why I think you're seeing a doozy just split off from the rest of the pack here to scout what's available, because it's very, very hot territory. You've got, what, a good 10 teams, all within throwing distance of one another. And the problem is, it's the teams on the middle of that pack, should this circle be unfavourable to the central, that are going to struggle to rotate out of this one. Everyone will just get murdered on arrival. For Navi, it may pay off. I'm surprised they've gone as deep as this and not waited towards the top and maybe hope for some circle luck and then murdered everybody on arrival.
Yeah, and they got 7 running parallel with them right along the edges, which is what Senya's kind of tracking right now. He's almost just keeping vision on them to know exactly where they're going. Doesn't want to go over a blind hill like that just to realise he's run into an open team. So now with BestLosh & Co giving the information, they're going to be happy to move in. G2 still coming in out of the blue. They're just to the eastern side of Los Leones, and they're going to roll on through. They are, as expected, playing edge along with Razor Edge, who are also coming out just to the west of El Pozo. They'll be inside. Rakandark not getting away from that one. First man down again. Oh, well, not quite first man down. CrowCrowd went just the first man down, but GamerLegion losing 2 there, I believe.
Yep. Rakandark and Bjorn falling simultaneously. And it just speaks volumes of how close these teams are, because that was split between both ENCE and M47. Liquid are now actually... Oh, this is a bit sketchy from Liquid going for a 2-2 at this... I get what they're doing. They're trying to do their usual stance, which is give them a bigger land grab, depending on where the circle goes. But with how many teams are in this area, that's a bold play to say the least. Let's see. Oh my
word.
I said I wanted some weird and wonderful circle.
This is the PKL circle, right?
Yes, it is. All the way with the hillside, and that could still stay in for another circle yet. That is absolutely demoralizing to anybody who's on the south or the east. That is such a... There's a certain word I want to use, which I won't, but that is a god-awful circle.
That's a big pull. FaZe are delighted. They can pick up quite a few in the rotations, I was about to say, but Senya catches himself a knock on mxey there. Aitzy is looking like he is chilling. N47 going to pull up on the compound. Now, the problem with this pull, the way it is, obviously, as you guys all know, look at the size of these bloody hills. They're massive, so to rotate around them, you're either bombing it over or you're going across some really loose terrain. That's a car on fire, Jeems. Get the hell away from that vehicle because that is going up in flames. He's managed to get away and get himself down low before that explodes on him, and everybody's sending it. Now, the bonus is this full western side has a lot of ditches available to it, even just bearing in mind it's probably about 50% unplayable area right now.
There's a negative factor to that, is that we will have hill in the next circle, some of it.
Yeah.
By hook or by crook. It could still be a hard shift and keep as little as humanly possible into it. It might not. It might take it completely out, but we'll still have some of it in for the next circle, which then preempts what's going to happen when we move into circle 4. Again, it's not water, but it is inaccessible terrain.
Lose people here.
You know kind of where this circle is going to be ending, and this is why everyone wants to go towards the central. You are going to have to take fights. If you want a good position for this next one, you are going to have to fight for your life. You are going to take compounds. There's no real rotating. The problem is for Liquid, Seven, and to a lesser extent, Digital Athletics, they're putting themselves at a disadvantage. This is, and we said, kind of playing for whatever's left and playing for the scraps and leftovers. It really is. Out there, you're not going to get the circle, or at least there's a very small percentage, a small chance you will. So you're putting yourself a bit of a deficit already, in my opinion, by going out there all the way against the wall. But there's so little room to play off of and so little land to grab at this point. You're just trying to play for survivability.
I think Liquid would be happy that they've only just lost one in that rotate. They had a 2-2 split, almost sort of just slightly southwest of Chumacera. They were the other valley, basically. They've had to go across quite a distance and through a few teams. No surprises to see Na'Vi collecting a couple of those kills en route. NIP have got this really horrible split between N47, sort of almost sharing a compound. It's very messy, very messy. ENCE got one in. Here comes G2 and DA. They're both coming in from the south. Now G2 are going to be passing by GamerLegion. I think they may pull up on them, realizing there's not many there, and they absolutely have. G2 are going to try and fight down on the south side, in and around, surrounding GamerLegion, and trying to take it to them.
What we will probably find is that these teams that are up against the wall, and when I say up against the wall, on the west side of the road, you're either on the east or the west. You pick your poison. More than likely, you should be on the east at this point. It is a forked road, so there is two sides to this, and there is a mountaintop in between, which is the likely spot where this circle would end up. But still, all the teams that are on the western side of the road against the wall, you'll expect a lot of tunneling and a lot of viewership maybe towards the back lines. I'm already seeing Liquid and Seven starting to butt heads. We've actually got it on screen, and this could be a problem. All these teams will knock the living hell out of one another, and then when they've got across the road, they're lacking utility. They're lacking vests, helmets, everything else. That's a really good knock from Buster. Might be able to bail it out the window at this point. If that had worked, I'd have actually gone and shook that man's hand.
Because they maybe thought he'd
I'm surprised he didn't just stand there, to be fair, and maybe bait them further. It could have worked.
Sadovnik's not done yet. They're going to get the revive. Sadovnik's trying to push it, knowing damn well there's a revive coming in. Ooh, nearly took EB down. Second one pushes. Jeems takes him down, and Seven in trouble. GamerLegion also were eliminated by G2. We saw them collapsing on the house earlier on. Speaking of NIP's split, Reciprocity have managed to catch a knock on Miraku and taking him out of it. That takes NIP down to 2, I believe. So a couple of, I mean, it speaks volumes for how much of a shift it was in Circle. The fact that we've lost 14 players already still in Phase 3.
It doesn't in any way, shape or form mean to sound BM, but when you are playing up against teams like Digital Athletics and teams like Seven, because of how far down in the tables they are, at some points when they're losing individual players, there's literally nothing else to lose, and they play weird. They can play really strange, and sometimes even to a bigger extent, maybe like a public style. You can never underestimate them, and this is...
That was naive from Gemty, in my opinion. That was where Team Liquid had just come from to push 7, and he was just kind of wandering back there. And didn't expect DA to just roll in. I guess it's based on the fact DA came in late, didn't they, behind them, and I don't think they realised that DA had got so close.
It's a bit... This is what I mean about strange players. You have to expect everything, and it's not me dumping on the teams that are lower down the table.
Come on, Yannis, you can do it.
It's the fact they have a different style. No,
you got to
hit
go
it
over
from a
to the
different
left.
angle, fella.
Over to the...
Swing it. But yeah, Liquid will lose too, and it's kind of all coming together. We're losing players on this western side, and it just makes things harder as they try and advance towards where this circle will probably be. And maybe we also see Team Liquid find the rest of 7. It would be only one player. If not, they'll try and punch over the road, and then they're going to get faced off against Team Liquid, which will be difficult. There's just nowhere else to go. There's no room. Everyone's taken every single point on the mountain. You can't go anywhere without dying.
Team Liquid, well, they were going for a shack, but Team Liquid, Ibby, has managed to actually get caught out with Edelweiss, the last member of 7, that's knocked his vehicle, his tyres, and he's caught him pinned, and he's in the road. He's basically in the ditch, so it might work out. We'll see whether it manages to survive there. TSM trying to get this push around Raise Your Edge, who are sitting comfortable from the compound, but they do have a ditch that's going to give them the cover fire they require. G2 moving further south, so they're now all inside. Everybody kind of inside this next circle, no problem for them. Now we see where it goes. It is a pull down to the south, but the majority of teams are inside. However, these on your screen, TSM and Raise Your Edge, are not, along with the Knights. They all need to make the move south.
A little bit quiet for now.
Gustav's right there, just caught a glimpse.
The Raise Your Edge. Just be aware of this one. Wanted is lingering in this. The Knights are sniffing behind TSM. So regardless of what happens here, I think Wanted might just interject himself into this fight and cause grief for them.
Yeah, that will catch TSM because they've got this ridge line that's saving them from Raise Your Edge. There you go. They can see shots going in behind them now. It is Wanted. Just having a couple of pot shots from behind.
One good nade would do so much damage to TSM and throw everything into the wind.
He's got none. Oh, it's gonna.
He's got a molly.
Yeah, it's
can make it work.
But he's still sneaking up on him. It's who's that? Is it 7 from range that are taking the pot shots?
Go on, it's it. There's 2 players there. That'd be absolutely sick if he managed to land it onto him.
Yeah, no, he's got to try. He's got to try and cover his retreat. Oh, it was Reels. It was Reels from range. He's actually out in the blue. Reels is. Yeah, he's back on his bike and he's out of there now. But yeah, the Knights causing a few problems on them there. NIP have managed to work their way up the hill. A crate's come down. Now, Jeems is about to go up there as well. That's going to be Jeems going down. ubah will catch him out, and that leaves Team Liquid down to 1. Their woes continue, it seems, this weekend. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, Ibby. I mean, there's no cover there at all, is there?
No, and you've already been in so many scuffles crossing the road and getting to this point that your durability will be pretty damn low, and in which case your survivability also along with it.
Do you think Ibby's got it in him to snake it? I mean, if it was Gemty or
not
Semty, I'd be saying.
No.
But he's also just not one of those players that would just snake it. He wants to go looking for the play. Speaking of plays, TSM, they got the smoke down on the right to cover off the hay bale, and that gives them the opportunity to get up to the building. And now they're going to try and push it building by building.
We had a really good response from Raise Your Edge when they were pushed by G2 in the previous round,
Michael,
so we'll kind of see how they do it with this one. There is a player up high already in the buildings to answer. That's going to be menox. So although the roof play, it's going to be different. It gives you the vision, but I like that there is a response to it. Look for lynxes and potentially maybe go down low and get behind them. Unless he's held and can't due to Digit Athletics in the distance, I don't know how much vision they will have on this fight. I'm already hearing the pre-fire. That's a damn good shot. Peeks the corner, but there is a response. 1, 2, 3, and dead.
What a day for Raise Your Edge, man.
That's confidence.
Taking down the #1 team there. TSM go down. Raise Your Edge now to make the moves, to make the rotates. They've abandoned menox, it looks like. Is anyone there to help revive him? I'm not too sure. Looks like it's going to be lynxy off on his tracks and try and get yourself some points, but unfortunately he's going straight towards Edelweiss. And Edelweiss will no doubt hear him. He definitely saw him.
You're just playing for survivability at this point, but 3 points and a placement jump. All right, you don't get no points from the placement, but still 3 frags. It's nothing to sniff your nose at when you're almost down and out.
Oh, this 2-2 from FaZe, man, do they know these circles or what? They're getting it all. That's perfect. They have either side of the road, no problems. And as we saw from ItzzChrizZ's point of view, there's not a lot of cover on that whole down slope area. So this is actually big for DA. DA have the entire western side to themselves. If they want to be proactive, they can be and take a lot of kills. Unfortunately for FaZe, they only have Fuzzface on that western side.
Do you know what might happen to DA now? Is that all these teams that have gone for the hillside, which is the prime place for it to be, and I don't blame them for doing so, but all these teams that don't end up in a fight and killing one another from the east rotate on the edge of the blue and go to the opposing side of the road and go for those compounds.
CrowCrowd doing just that now.
DA are in a 2-2, so they might not be able to hold them.
Well, they're going to call straight up on Edelweiss's compound. Don't know if they realize it's there. He pops out, and Misa absolutely was ready for that. And now, with him gone down, instant flush, they know that it is clean and safe. Don't know if they know about Lynxy. I guess they would have watched him pass by, right? They were watching the CSM battle play take way. And then 47 come up on the hillside. NOP were already down to 2 as it was, and Vard's already been knocked and flushed.
Desperados have worked their way down. They're a bit closer to Ibiza, but they've got something. They are open to CrowCrowd, so they'll be looking for maybe to put the vehicles up or just get some kind of better position. And it's all down to NOOKIE's off angle. That's upside of the road, causing them problems. Timmy could get close with the grenade. The Knights are still sweeping and swooping onto Reciprocity. The frags will begin to start to hand out because, unfortunately for Rec, they've also got M47 behind them. They've got G2. This is just an absolute cluster.
Yeah, it's messy, and G2 are just trying to benefit so much from it. Their 2-2, though, is starting to get contested. They've got Na'Vi nearby to them. The Knights, they just can't quite make it there. Can Reals be able to crawl up? Is there a smoke for Znark? I don't think he's got anything. Don't think he's got anything available. He's just trying to secure it, isn't he? Reals may well get in, but look at this. Shiv still looming and waiting to try and strike. Udir has been finished off. He will see Wanted, can see the second man. Gets the headshot on Drayden. Will get the knock as well, but not before Znark gets the return fire. He's got 3 men down, and the blue pushing on all of them. It's not going to be a job to revive any of them, and Znark's left alone now.
It's mad how much impact damage Reciprocity has done to the Knights, and also I think they only got 1 knockout. No, I'm not sure how many knocks they got. I won't say that just in case I am incorrect, but if they got all the knocks, they've just picked up 3 points while doing so because the blue has confirmed them. But still, the damage is done to the Knights. NIP's gone.
Got NBS down there. Managed to steal away the final kill. G2 losing 1 on the hill. That's a simple knock, but he might be able to get revived. No, that's been finished off as well. So G2 down to 3 as the circle pulls slightly north. Still good for FaZe Clan.
They have to be tested a little bit here, though, in the fact that they have to get themselves across the road. So as long as they can do this cleanly, and there is a unit of 4 inside that compound.
Oh!
It's fantastic. Wow, okay.
All right, Fuzz gets away with it. He's like, sure.
Streamer maneuver, by the way.
Totally meant that.
That's what they needed to do, though, to be able to get themselves back as a 4. That was a clean maneuver, clean transition. Good job from FaZe. DA have actually moved into their building just to give them a foothold because they have to cross the road now. But honestly, boys, I don't know about that one. Because once you come out of that compound, you are so exposed. Maybe it's to get an eye line onto CrowCrowd.
Snark's still going. Snark's still going. The last man of the night. He's ducking, diving, weaving, and taking kills as he goes there. Onto N47. We'll finally go down to Vazku. Meanwhile, G2 trying to make some moves, but Yannis getting caught out. That puts them down to Chris and Braexco, the old guard, for G2 to try and recover some points. Don't forget about ABeautflDeath, by the way. Look at him. He's still down there in his little ditch. He's still managed to survive and into the top 8. They've got placement points. It's what Team Liquid does.
I can't believe how much Wanted is. Rex slowed down them. Then there's a knock-on effect of Knights slowing down N47. Pretty sure G2 are using that down player as bait as well because no one else can collect the kill.
Oh, that was a bit of a crate play that Senya tried, and it did not work out, and now DA are cleaning up Na'Vi. And that was simple execution, squad down the hills. DA collecting all the points there, but they still have to move. This compound that they're in is not inside. They're going to be the only team that are left on the western side of the circle. But now with Na'Vi cleaned out, they could go down to the roadside, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go down south, down to the roadside. There's 2 crates down there. FaZe Clan have to watch this, and that's what they're trying to do. You can see FaZe trying to light them up at the moment, trying to do what they can with the vehicles. They've made a bit of a blockade. Need to take the tires out because they're getting shot under those cars at the moment. It's not working for them. The smokes are not going to stop the bullets. It is simply dropping that car. And I was surprised they've still not took the tires out, DA. FaZe absolutely won't do it because that will give them all the advantage they need. The blue is going to be on them. A beautiful death now with really an impossible task to try and get across the road. And we're going to see DA bleeding out to FaZe here. That's going to be FaZe collecting all of the kills.
Why don't you throw the smokes first? Rather than having it and then throwing it once it's out with the smoke. You should be laying them down and then running at it. Either way, under so much pressure, not a lot you can do when you pin back in there. Domino effect. DA takes out Na'Vi. FaZe Clan from their old position. Takes out DA. CrowCrowd have aligned themselves on the road. Stops any advancement down south from Desperados because they're either flooding to them.
I like this. Look at ubah and mxey. They're on the move. They know the danger.
To touch on this one. They're going to go get an eye line and a read on what's going on down there because they can only be hit from one angle. In theory, it depends if they know where NOOKIE is, but the problem is as soon as NOOKIE stands up, Desperados should be able to see him if they fire on them. That feeds the information back to FaZe Clan. They've got a good amount of ground. The only real problem for FaZe Clan, in my opinion, is Braexco stabbing them in the back in the last moments, potentially, of this circle as it closes, because he has to go towards them.
Look at ubah and mxey. They're on the move again. And talking about Braexco, absolutely does stab them in the back. CrzyZZ pops up. Doesn't manage to get the finish, though. Braexco will go down. CrzyZZ is still alive. ubah's the man that's down at the moment. Aitzy's got absolutely nothing. He's pulling out the meds. They need the aerial cover as much as they can from Fuzz and mxey.
One bandage, Lee. No stims.
Hope and a dream, but it is CrzyZZ. And you never know what he could pull off. CrowCrowd, oh, look at this. CrowCrowd have absolutely moved down that ditch. They've tried to execute the maneuver well. Aitzy's going to get the res off now. Can they turn and realize the danger? CrowCrowd have pushed up on them, but they found Desperados also trying to do a similar job, and a great shot from Big Tiikzu there, making it work.
TomiL does turn, but you can see his attention.
Look at FaZe. They've swept completely out. They're sweeping the circle. They're sweeping around.
Ibby sees him.
Counterclockwise. Ibby absolutely needs to see them because he's about to get stepped on as FaZe is going around. Page could be the backstab man. Ibby will go down. It's going to be a 5th place for Team Liquid, which is honestly great positional points considering TomiL, the last man also for Desperados. And a potential at a 4v4 here, but Tiikzu has been taken down.
Meter onto ubah. And that was from cross map. They will be able to get the res off, but you know what? Page is looking that way. If Page gets Fuzzface while he's mid-res, that could be devastating for FaZe Clan if they take him down at the right time, which he does. He gets both of them. And
CrowCrowd could flush. CrowCrowd could push on this one. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to go aggressive. FaZe have to get their heads down at the moment. They realize the danger. They've got to try and go for the revives, but CrowCrowd, they want to capitalize. NOOKIE's the man that's going to be the forward point. You can see he's trying to get around the side there. mxey and Aitzy trying to keep them apart, realizing it's not possible. They're not going to be able to get the revive. Fuzz has gone down low. Has got a clean revive position now. Aitzy's going to go for it, but ubah's gone.
They've got the smoke up, and you can see just by showing themselves and presence for a second, it denies FaZe the res.
Misa's on a massive flank. Here you go. Look at this position. He's gone on a big flank, so he's took the ditch.
Be exposed.
He can continue going round. mxey's realizing there's a potential danger down there.
I'd say they're too good not to check this. Surely he's seen him. Surely.
Too sure. That's a good spray down. He gets mxey down. And now will they move on this? Will they capitalize the danger? NOOKIE is up so close. It's Fuzz and Aitzy back on their feet.
3 flashbangs.
So many flashbangs. It's like fireworks display going on at the moment. Aitzy had such a big day yesterday and the day before.
Oh, they're crushing them from behind. There's 2 players behind them. Misa is keeping them focused down low.
Flashbangs.
But the 2 players are up here. mxey finally bleeds out. 10 kills come through for CrowCrowd, trying to get that one headshot. The smokes.
Fuzz is moving. Fuzz is going. Fuzz is about to push on them. He's waiting. Sees one that gives his position away, realizes he's going to get the double push, and it will be CrowCrowd that will take the win, but it is a second place for FaZe Clan. They could have won the first 2 games of the day. Incredible stuff, but CrowCrowd, they realized the situation. A really good read from them, in all honesty. As soon as FaZe moved down to their compound, they tried to flush around counterclockwise around the circle. CrowCrowd capitalized. They pushed up the hill, they swept out Desperados, and they made it count.
Come down to mxey just been a nuisance on the side of the road and drawing their attention. Fuzzface has to go do the impossible on a 1 versus 2. Unfortunately, just looks for the player down low, and it's the one up high which confirms his death. We saw this with ItzzChrizZ yesterday, right? 2 second places back to back on Miramar. Straight off the bat.
We shouldn't discount the points of CrowCrowd, by the way, because they are creeping up the table, and while obviously they are known as Winstrike in Phase 2, they actually inherited CrowCrowd's points, which was 6th place, if I'm not mistaken, in Phase 2. So there's a lot of points there, and Parla's with the boys.
I am with the boys, currently with Tiikzu and Tiikzu. Talk to me about that matchup, how the circle moved around, how you guys adjusted.
We saw the second circle like shift very fast west, so we took the best spot available, and then just hold the spot, and when the circle kept going towards us, then just clear the edges and move forward into the circle and kill everyone.
It's been a couple of weeks since we last spoke. What changes or differences have there been in the team over the last couple of weeks?
In the first few weeks we had some problems with like rotating too much and doing some over-rotate, so we stopped doing that and trying to get like more into the circle, like, and try to fight enemies and knock down the blue.
Great stuff. And in the closing stage of this game, going up against FaZe, at one point it was 3 versus 3. Were you feeling confident? What was the strategy in those last moments?
We knew that we had more space than them, and mxey had a nice flank on the roadside, so we just tried to like play together with NOOKIE, and mxey takes that flank and kills them. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Tiikzu, for the words. We'll go for some final words with mxey and NOOKIE. Are you happy with how the team are doing so far in Phase 3, over halfway through?
We are doing like decent, but we need to do a lot better. Like we are doing medium stuff.
Medium stuff. And do you know what needs to change to get up to the next gear?
Yeah, we need to go full Acro and kill everyone. Yeah.
mxey, I think you're ready to kill everybody, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right, everybody. CrowCrowd, congratulations on that chicken dinner. Up next, it's Sandhawk. Let's head back to the desk.
Another win for CrowCrowd on the board here with the boys and the Bloodhound able to hunt down all of those last kills. Going up against FaZe, no doubt, and another second place for FaZe on the board. Not to be a Miramar win for them today here, so they just get themselves 2 Miramar wins for the week as a whole. But CrowCrowd coming out with a lot of damage.
Overall, in the end game, they played that perfect. They had so much zone control, made sure that they could keep FaZe out in case that the zone was going to start pushing them. But mxey with a nice flank made sure that everything ended before they could even get started.
What I really liked from CC in the end there was the usage of utilities, how they were trying to flashbang FaZe Clan.
Oh, yeah.
It's not often we see flashbang being used in that way, but not only were they using flashbangs, but it was also synchronized, coming in from 2 different directions, trying to flash them from above as well, which will give you maximum flash on the opponent.
Maximum flash coverage. That's what we're going to go with for that. But it was cool to see that kind of utilization as we take a look at some of the highlights here from this game, Avenger.
Overall, some fights outside the zone here. We saw TSM Rich Edge fight here for a long time, and then it was outside the zone, so they're basically fighting for a position that was just survival. It was not to stay inside the zone or anything, but TSM went out early. Overall, TSM, rough day so far. Could have been better, but CrowCrowd FaZe, obviously FaZe again with a second place. I was kind of sad not to see them with a third win here, so they could.
Would have been cool.
But they're not convincing us 100% yet that Miramar is now their best map here for Phase 3.
Wow.
I'd still say it's pretty decent in 1 week and getting 2 wins and 2 second places on Miramar itself.
33% of the Miramar wins in a week. It's not enough for a venture.
No, more.
And
You want more.
the 2 games they did not get podium finish, they got 8 kills on each of those.
Yeah.
And of course here, CrowCrowd getting the victory. Very happy with that one indeed for those boys. CrowCrowd, and say that roster as a whole, just stepping it up each and every time. We have our results coming in 9th through 16th, only NIP and TSM getting themselves the 0 pointers. Unfortunate for NIP finding themselves in these rough spots, considering how fantastic they did yesterday. Let's take a look at our 1 through 8 as well. Up to the top, right up there. It's 22 points coming in for CrowCrowd. FaZe Clan, another 15 on the board.
FaZe Clan with another 15. I think that's put him on first place overall. Taking over TSM.
Yeah, and with a big lead down to Na'Vi as well, because they've had above average performance so far for some of the last few days here. Nothing amazing, but way above the average, so it's good to see them continue that, but that means they're currently just looking at 3rd place right now.
Right.
Because they're sitting in the middle of, we have TSM FaZe on the very top. They're doing very, very good. Navi's doing better than G2 and Liquid right now, so they're looking at a sturdy 3rd place right here.
We are getting to a world right now where top 1, top 2 are almost guaranteed going to PGC unless they absolutely fall off the map somehow. They don't make it to the arena for the next 2 weeks because they're gaining themselves a massive cushion of points compared to anybody that can try and challenge them.
Even then, they would actually, even if they fall off the stage and break their legs and don't show up, they would still make it over to the PGC, I'm pretty sure. No, but they have, what, about over 100 global points of a lead right now, down to the teams. Yeah, down to the teams that are not inside the qualification right now. And that's huge. Coming in here, week 4 right now, 2 more weeks to go. Of course, last week we have an extra day as well, so it's going to be a little bit more games that week.
At the same time, though, in that, it does show almost like the system works because those are the names that are like hugely prevalent when it comes to some of the results that we've been seeing here.
That's what I really like as well, honestly, because so far what we've seen from this, obviously, and for me, I think now that the teams are that sturdy in the top 5, I think now they're just focusing on the best results possible in Phase 3.
Yeah.
For the bigger share of the money, for the honor and everything as well. So, to be fair, I don't think they're worrying too much about PGC because it's kind of already set in stone for that. Our biggest focus is the 5th and 6th spot, which is, for me, still kind of up for grabs.
I mean, sure. Biggest focus of all, though, should be for the teams to actually maybe focus more on Sanhok. It's a map they haven't played too much on competitive on. They need to prepare themselves for the Worlds. You have MPL that plays that twice a day, for example. That's 33% of all their games. We only play 20%, so we're going to have less played games on Sanhok than MPL, for example.
Is that true?
You're thinking?
Okay, you're thinking that we play 96, they play 54 games.
Yeah.
So, quick math.
Why are you guys doing maths on stream?
Quick math is they're playing, what? How many games?
54.
Yeah, but how many weeks are they playing? 4, right?
Yeah.
2 a day, 8 games, 16 Sanhok games. We're playing 18. We're playing one more, I think.
All right.
I think
There you go.
18 and 19 Sanhok, I think it is.
Shall I leave you two in this disaster?
Sure. We're playing. No. Here it is. That's how it is. They're playing 16 Sanhok games. We're playing 19.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we got to the bottom of that, guys. Woof. Coming into Sanhok now. What are you guys estimating? We had quite a few Western circles down towards where Ruins was, etc.
No, we've had a lot of very different circles to
have.
what we've seen before. Yes, we did have our previous game just before where we had the M19 compound was in for a long time. FaZe took that very early because M19 is not in the zone anymore, or they're not in the league anymore. But overall, this circle here, very, very different, very Western string as well. And I like to see that. It's nice to see some different circles.
Is this where Team Liquid can make up some room again?
I mean, they are the team that is currently doing best on Sanhok overall for the FaZe here, so they have the potential to do it. Now, will it happen, though?
It has been rough. It has been rough for them, to say the least. All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We're going to go to a short break here in a moment's time. Make sure to use the hashtag AskPEL and ask us some questions. I'm going to keep reminding you, of that hashtag. Go over to Twitter and do that. For now, we're going to go to that break, and when we return, it's going to be Sandhawk. But before we do, let's hear from some of the players here at PEL.